Woo! What's going on, brothers? What's going on? What's going on? This is just a test. This is just a test. This is a test, my brothers. Brothers. Look here, man. I am sitting right here in front of my computer and I am playing with technology. I am playing with technology. I told y'all, man, I'm gonna work this thing out gradually. I told you I'm gonna work this thing out in my time as I feel necessary. I told you guys all the Matrix effects, all the stuff with George Lucas, all the Star Wars things that you have. Yeah, that's coming. But I am taking my time. I'm playing with this OBS, this open broadcast system. And what you're seeing right here, my guys, is my new moniker. This is my new moniker right here. I am the Mad Professor. I am the Mad Professor. You could call me Dr. Neil. You can call me Professor Neil. But I prefer that you call me the Mad Professor. And I'm going through this system, man, and I'm trying to figure this thing out, and I'm trying to determine the best way to maximize what I do here on this channel. This channel where we talk about BMI. Y'all see the hashtags: Black Men's Independence, BMA, Black Men's Agency, BME, Black Men's Empowerment, and BMH, Black Men's Happiness. That's right. And I appreciate your support, brothers. I really do. I appreciate all you brothers who have been with me since the very beginning, since 2020 when I started this channel. I appreciate all of your support. For those of you all who are listening for the very first time, I encourage you to go through my brief archive that is here on this channel, um, that gives you an idea of what this channel is all about. And we are growing, brothers. We are growing. We are growing. And speaking of growing, my brothers, at this very moment, we are dealing with growing pains. We are dealing with the tensions that come with expansion. It's just inevitable. It's a natural process. It happens with every group, with every movement, with every shift in history. I don't have to tell you. I don't have to tell you that this thing of ours, the Black Manosphere, is in a place of tumult, in a place of chaos, and it's good. It's good. We have these tensions. We have these tensions between black men who I regard as being representatives of the underground. That is, black men who've been on YouTube, who've been doing Black Manosphere content for at least 7 years. Black men who've been here talking about the issues of black men before this shift, before the transition, before some of our members, particularly Kevin Samuels, uh, crossed over, before he became this social media sensation. And what I want to say to you guys is that, you know what? Listen. There can be a happy coexistence between the underground and the mainstream. There can be a happy coexistence between the underground and the mainstream. In fact, these two things have always existed. If you watch my last video, um, you will You will notice that I talked about this then in terms of black music, in terms of jazz, blues, in terms of hip hop and R&B and all of that. Um, it's always been there. And here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing, guys. Um, there is no mainstream without the underground. There is no mainstream. There is no crossover without the underground. The crossover needs the underground. The underground is the heart. It is the soul. It is the thing that has all of the riches. It's that rawness. It is that unedited, uncut funk. That's exactly what it is. And the mainstream is just a way of making things more palatable to other people who are not real initiates of the space and what we have been doing in this thing we call the black manosphere. And the reality is, my guys, is that they both feed on each other. That is that the underground produces the mainstream, and the mainstream feeds on the underground, and also the underground becomes more creative. It becomes more innovative. It elevates the level of rawness. It elevates the level of depth in relationship to the mainstream. All right, and I said to you before. I said P Diddy back in the '90s. P Diddy hooked up with Biggie, the notorious B.I.G. B.I.G. was underground. B.I.G. Was on that corner in Brooklyn doing his thing. Okay, and being successful. And he got the ear of Sean Diddy Combs, and Sean Diddy Combs took him to another level. And if you study Big, and some of y'all might think I'm old school because I'm making these old school references, but it is what it is. Uh, Sean Diddy Combs took him to that next level, and if you really study Big still remained faithful to his core. All right. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And um, and the reality is, my guys, is that we can still do what we do with both of these elements, and we can coexist. So it doesn't make any sense for us to be in this war, this so-called war, this battle, or what have you. Nothing is being lost. Nothing is being erased at this particular moment. There are eyeballs everywhere. They're looking at us, and so I'm happy, guys. I'm happy that we are in this place right now, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm happy to be a part of it because I consider myself as someone who is in between. I consider myself as someone who is right there on both ends. That is, I came to this space because I got these underground sensibilities. I came to this space because I'm a black man, because I deal with the stuff that regular black men deal with, and that's what brought me here. But at the same time, I have to be honest to you and everybody else. I live in the mainstream. I work in the mainstream. I'm a professor. I'm an academic. I'm a writer. I'm a scholar. I deal with the main currents of white American capitalism in the United States of America, and so I have both of these things in me, and I don't see a conflict. I really don't. I really don't see a conflict, and I want to encourage all of us to continue to support everybody who is, just starting out, the brothers who are just coming in, as well as brothers who some might want to call old school or what have you. All the guys, the cellar dwellers, all the brothers who are making the mixtapes, who are making the mix CDs, all right, who are doing the Curtis Jackson thing, the 50 Cent thing before 50 Cent became a worldwide sensation, before he became who he is today. Okay, and if it ain't 50 Cent, it's Jay-Z, and it's just so many other people. Nicki Minaj is in the news. Y'all know that Nicki Minaj was underground. She was underground at one time. Yes, she was. She was underground. She was underground, and then she went mainstream. And if we're not talking about Nicki Minaj, we're talking about Drake. Drake, Drake, the superstar. Drake, the man who will never have to worry about feeding himself or paying his bills for the rest of his life. He came through the underground door. All right. Drake rather came through Rap-A-Lot Records, through the son of the CEO of Rap-A-Lot Records, Jay Prince. He got his legitimacy in the underground. And I want y'all to look at the video that he did some years ago. I guess it's almost 10 years ago. Worst Behavior, when Drake hooked up with 3 6 Mafia, Juicy J, Paul, and Project Pat, and all those guys. Because you know Drake, his daddy comes from Memphis. His daddy is an R&B man. His daddy is a music man. His dad is an underground black man. All right. And so all these things can coexist, my brothers. And so man, let's let go of these tired, petty, crazy beefs about the underground and the mainstream. Listen, guys, I don't want to make this video too long. I don't want to make this video too long, but this is an exciting time for us. I've been also, looking and watching the news, and I see that BLM is in the news once again. Black Lives Matter. The queer feminists in the news. Patrice Cullors and Alicia Garza and their ilk. It looks like the federal government is really interested in what they've done with the money that they have raised since the massacre of 2020, the execution of George Floyd. And this, my guys, is a very, very serious thing. It's a serious thing. Let me tell you something. So in America, if you start a nonprofit organization, you start it under the code. They call it a 501c3. It's a 501c3. And when you start a nonprofit organization, you are telling the federal government that, your work has absolutely nothing to do with, profit seeking and making money. And what that means is that you have to give an account, you have to show records, you have to show receipts, you have to show the federal government how you are using the money that you have received. And if you have faulty financial practices, if you have poor bookkeeping, if you cannot demonstrate to the federal government that you are using this money for nonprofit purposes, that is, you're not using this money for personal gain, buying houses, going on trips, buying clothes, doing things outside of a set salary or what have you, the federal government is going to audit you. You are going to be audited. They are going to look at your finances. And this happens to everyone who is engaged in a nonprofit organization. It happened to Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson was a leader and still a leader. He's an old man right now. But all of his organizations, Operation Push, his Rainbow Coalition, and he had a variety of nonprofit enterprises that were a part of his own activist work. And during the 80s and the 90s, he too was scrutinized. He was scrutinized by federal powers. And Jesse Jackson, as an activist and organizer, he had to show his receipts. And Jesse Jackson came out clean. Jesse Jackson was someone who was scrutinized, and he was able to demonstrate that he is not using, or he was rather not using his money for personal gain. So this is par for the course, guys. This is par for the course. You see, when these white people, when they give these black organizations money, it doesn't matter what their political orientation is. They want to know what exactly you are doing with the money. When you put yourself out there as this benevolent entity, this social justice enterprise, you got to take an account. So I don't have any tears for Black Lives Matter, the queer part, and those folks who um, um, seemingly cannot show the receipts. I don't know, guys. I mean, based on stuff from the New York Post and other places, it looks like, these people are just balling out of control. They are balling out of control. So, no tears for Black Lives Matter. They have been completely and thoroughly uh, delegitimized by this very process. And after Black Lives Matter, the movement, what you have Joe Biden. You got Joe Biden, guys. And all I want to say, guys, all I want to say is this: three cheers. Three cheers for Joe Biden. Three cheers for Joe Biden. Why do I say three cheers for Joe Biden? Hell, I did not vote for Joe Biden. I voted third party. Third party. I didn't vote for him. I was never going to vote for him. His record was too bad, too horrible, too caught up in Jim Crow and slavery and just paternalism and just condescension towards black people. But I say three cheers for Joe Biden because Joe Biden is showing the world, he's showing black folks, particularly the black folks who voted for him, he is showing them who he is. That is, Joe Biden convinced these black people who voted for him that somehow or another, after 40 some years in politics and all of his anti black stuff, that somehow or another he was going to turn the corner. That he was going to, be a different kind of leader, president, administrator, and that he would deal with black people in a way that, would deviate from the way in which he dealt with black people in the past. And what we're seeing right now is that Joe Biden has not deviated. Joe Biden is sticking to his old script. You black folks, y'all just gonna have to get in line. Yeah, I made a whole bunch of promises to you and everything like that, but I don't have to. I don't have to live up to those promises. All right, and you can cry and you can carry on and you can protest and everything like that. I am already in office. I'm old. I'm tired. I'm dried up. Hell, I might pass away before I leave the office, but I am not going to change my program. And Joe Biden is, I said this, and y'all go back to my old videos. Joe Biden is doing, no differently than what Richard Nixon did. What Richard Nixon did when he was president. There's this doctrine that Richard Nixon applied to black people, and this was a doctrine, in fact, that was influenced by Daniel Patrick Moynihan. And yeah, we know Moynihan. You know Moynihan, yeah, Moynihan, Daniel Patrick Mount Moynihan, the senator from New York. And it's called the doctrine of benign neglect. It is called the doctrine of benign neglect. And what is the doctrine of benign neglect? The doctrine of benign neglect says that these Afro Americans are going to have to work their situation out on their own. They're going to have to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. The federal government is, not going to be able to rectify all of the historical consequences of anti-black racism in the United States. Yes, Daniel Patrick Moynihan was the one who crafted the idea of benign neglect, and Richard Nixon, he's the one who implemented it, and that whole doctrine carried over into the 1980s. It went past Gerald Ford. It went through. Jimmy Carter and it carried over into the Reagan era with Ronald Reagan, and hell, it infected William Jefferson Clinton, your boy, Billy, Billy the Kid, Bill Clinton. And so this is where we are. This is where we are. And so brothers, I say three cheers for Joe Biden because black folks are now being forced. They're being forced in a very real way to figure out what they're going to do politically going forward. What they're going to do in these midterm elections, what they're going to do in 2024, and what they're going to do beyond 2028, what they're going to do in 2032. That is what black folks are going to have to work out. And this might be, my guys, when we hit 2024, this might be the moment when black folks decide to really step up and become an independent political force in the United States. My hopes, that's my hope, that's my hope, that's my hope. But I ain't hating on it. I'm not hating on it because I predicted all of this. I predicted everything. I knew what Joe Biden was going to do when he entered into office. I knew it. I knew it. And I said it. Y'all go back to the old videos where I criticized Joe Biden. Oh, yeah, and Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris. Yeah, because she's on his team as well. But listen, guys, I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but this is just a test right here. This is just a test. We are going through growing pains. All of us are going through growing pains. I'm going through growing pains with YouTube. You see this. This is primitivism right here. Y'all see the graphics. It's just basic, regular, ordinary stuff right here, man. But I'm playing with technology. I'm working it out slowly but surely. We are on our way to those matrix effects. Those matrix effects. But as I said, I am going to take my time. I am going to take my time. Listen, 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 listen. If you are new and you are listening, please subscribe to this channel. Please share and like this material. If you want to contribute, hit that Cash App $BMI 3000, Cash App $BMI 3000. Also hit that PayPal Ronald B. Neal. This has been another BMI, Black Men's Independence, BMA, Black Men's Agency, BME, Black Men's Empowerment, and BMH, Black Men's Happiness presentation. Peace and blessings to you, my brothers.